Hi, my name is Michael Johnson. I'm a ballroom dance professional, a life coach, and a peak performance expert. I'm part of a group of motivated people who are dedicated to attaining emotional mastery and unlocking our full potential. We don't believe others are responsible for how we feel. In fact, we don't believe anyone can make us feel anything. We believe in the magic of ballroom dance. It has taught us how to improve our bodies, challenge our minds, and inspire our souls. And in return, I want to share those lessons with the world. We are lifers, and this is Magic for Life. What's up, everybody? Michael Johnson here with the Magic for Life podcast, and we're so excited today. We have the world Latin champions, Riccardo and Yulia, joining us for our podcast. So we're going to do an interview with them today and find out some amazing things. Thank you so much for joining us today and being on the podcast.
Thank you,
Michael.
Michael.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. We have a few things to ask you just to kind of get going and get started on the interview. As we can see in your little biographies on the internet, there's little things that talk about
Very
sort
little.
of your background. And one of them is that you were the Italian amateur champion and you were the world amateur champion back in the day.
Yes, that's true.
Was that was a big portion of your life, right? How
Yeah,
long did
big
that
one.
take?
It took 23 years. 23 years that I lived in Italy, and after I started to travel the world, and later on I moved first to England for a couple of years, and then I decided to come definitely in the United States.
Yeah. Yulia, on your bio, you said that you were a junior champion and a youth champion, and then you came to the U.S. and you were pro Latin champion. It seems as though your entire career you've been a champion each step of the way, and that's amazing. How have you kept that up?
Well, how I remember, my mom told me that when I was about 6 years old, and I said to her, I will be the world champion. And she said, do you remember what you said to me? And I said, no, I don't. I said, yeah, that's what you told me. I will be the world champion. So I had something in me that I want to be in this, like the last achievement, I guess, for the dancing career, to be the world champion.
Wow, at 6 years old. How did you know about it at that age?
I didn't know. I don't even remember. She said to me, yeah, you told me.
Were your parents dancers?
No, my parents not dancers, but my father did skiing a bit, and my mom did a little bit of gymnastic. So
I see.
But not like professionally. So nobody actually dancing. My grandma used to dance back at the wartime. My mom told me, and she was also actually a champion of the national region.
Uh-huh.
And also actually ballroom dancing, but dancing was a little bit different. It was like polka, waltz, like all together, you know.
Yeah.
So I said, now I know from where the roots coming.
Why did your parents put you in ballroom dance?
I wanted to dance, and I was moving around, and I was like copying on the TV, and my mom was like, somewhere there dancing, and that's how we started.
Wow.
I started with the national folk dance first, because back time it was different times. It was no like individual couples. It was like more ensembles, like groups.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was very small, very little, like height-wise. And nobody want to take me because I'm too small, too little. And they took me like one national folk dance ensemble just for solo with other boy, like he also was small. And how I start with just solo kind of in between, and then it grows, and the ballroom dancing come up. Like 7 years old, I start to do ballroom dancing.
Wow.
And
In most instances, when you hear of these professional athletes that are doing so well, oftentimes their parents were dancers, and yours were,
Yes.
right? They were dancers
Yeah.
before, but that's amazing because your parents weren't really in the industry.
No.
That was the grandparents then.
Yeah.
It's the grandparents.
Yeah.
Even more deep roots.
Yeah.
Well, your parents were in the industry.
Yes.
Were your parents champions as well before you, or were
Unfortunately, they didn't have the chance to be a champion because of the economy side of it. They couldn't afford to have so many lessons and travel the world. The dream was to become champion, but
Sure.
they won some small competition on the area where we used to live,
Right.
but nothing like on the national scale or things like. But the passion was very, very strong.
And they had a studio, correct?
Yeah, they still have the studio.
Still,
Still
okay.
social studio. Yes.
Sure. Social dance.
Social.
Not competitive.
Not anymore. Like the business is shifting, and there are less couple. I was born in a small city close by Rome, but it's like really like a farm area. So it's not like it's so popular dancing, even though a lot of good dancers came out from there.
Sure.
But I guess the fashion and the life, the social side of it is changing. People still want to dance a little bit after they get the pension, but not so much before.
Right.
And kids are more into football and gymnastic and things like.
Right. And so did they have a vision for you to be a champion, or was it something that you decided, hey, I want to do this?
Well, I wish I would say yes, it was me, but actually it wasn't. Because as far I can, I understood about the past. When I was born, my father said to my mom, "He gonna be the champion." So obviously there is some kind of cursed things going on here when we point to somebody to be a champion and bless on the same time. So no, I didn't want to dance at the beginning. For me, I was very, very shy, very young age, of course, 4 years old, and they want me to put in the dancing business, like dance with a girl, and I didn't want to know anything about dancing with no one else. And but once I started, there was a situation where I started to enjoy, and of course, my father gave it all to train me, to support me all the way through to the career till I could make some money to have a lesson by myself. And then I decided, of course, that it was my future and I want to do it.
How old were you then?
Not so old. I was then 16, 17.
Not so old.
Because 16 I already had one. I was training already one couple 10 dance, because I used to do both,
Sure.
Latin and ballroom, and they won the Italian championship, and they were like amateur. They were not like, it was older than me.
Sure.
So I was like, wow, okay, if we can do this one, maybe there is a future in my life, But yeah,
Wow.
that was nice.
It said on your biography that you started teaching at a young age.
Yeah.
My mother had a studio when I was young that she kind of had good vision for me. And so she started having me teach the beginning classes when I was about 13. So I was really young at the time, but she would be my TA just in case I
Yeah, of course.
did weird things. But why did you start teaching so young? How did that happen?
It's just the teacher. We had summer camps, and the teacher also asked the students to help with the young kids.
Right.
So, and they said, you can do it. And I just like till now, I remember how I was scared. What I'm gonna tell them? How it's gonna be a lesson? I said, no, you just show them what you want. Like just check and show them what you want to do. I was so scared. I remember just now, like was in summer camp. But yeah, that's how I start and actually start get paid, and that's how
You kind of built. Right.
this money went for the. And I remember also with this money I bought for my mom boots.
For your mom?
Yes. So for some reason I wanted to buy something for my mom.
And how old were you? You were...
I don't know,
11
maybe
or
already
12?
was 13 or 12. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she said, and you bought the boots for me. Do you remember? Also, I don't remember.
Sure.
Them. But I remember
Soviet
I bought it,
Union, huh?
yes. Yeah,
Wow.
because I know how it's difficult.
Yeah.
For us was everything.
Yeah, that's cool. Why, you can answer this separately actually. Why do you love dance?
It's a very deep question.
It is, yeah.
Very, very
It's-
deep. I still wonder why. I don't know. I just it's a lot of crossing feeling. Dancing. It's a way of life. It's not just about an hobby. It started like something to be busy with. Like a young age. I was blessed actually to be in a dancing business, because I still think that the dancing is one of the most healthy place to be from young age, because it puts you in a society where elegance, where PR, where information, where the linguistic, where the teaching, the method, and everything is already give you some kind of direction for your life.
Right.
And also on the other side, it gives you the opportunity to start to earn a little bit of money.
Yeah.
That of course you're gonna go invest into the dancing, never like in something else. But it's also teaching you that money are not so important, because whatever you make, you spend straight away. It's not just about create something that's you think about your future. Your future is now, and that is what is about dancing. Like, we love to be in this group of people because every day we can meet somebody different, can make our life more riches, more important. And also through years we discovered that we can help people with a lot of issues.
Sure.
Like, for example, my parents having a dance studio, I start to see kids from 6 years old to 14 years old change completely behave in a school towards their school, how to behave in front of the teacher, what kind of respect they give it, how dedication they have to study, how much focus they can give it. When other kids that are not in a dancing, they struggle with.
Right.
Because maybe they are not in so much educational side.
Yeah.
On my age, and what is dancing? Dancing, it become us. We are the dancing.
Yeah.
And I couldn't think a day to wake up without dance.
Yeah.
Like to change his shoes and put a dance on. And, like every time we put the shoes, we're like, oh my God, seems like my second skin, because it's every day in our life we do that one. And the feeling of sacrifice is not sacrifice anymore. It's just a normal way to live.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like to practice, to sweat, to change, to take the bag, to put the stuff in. It's just all the process that make you fall in love with the dancing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, for me, I don't know. I start very young, like 4 years old.
Yeah.
So I don't think so. I had any kind of choices.
Yeah.
Why do I like? I think it's something comes from universe, my duty or my path, like to live this way.
Yeah.
And of course, through the experience you involve so much in it, and you just don't even realize, like, you living this life.
Yeah.
And obviously you like it, otherwise you wouldn't do it.
Sure.
Yeah, so for me it was different a bit. I just started from the very, very, very young and keep going, and I wanted to go. I don't know where.
Yeah, where?
I think in America, here.
Right.
Yes, that's it.
Why do you love it now? I mean, you were in it because you had to, but why now?
Well, I'm getting success. It's
Sure.
even better.
Even better, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
So I don't
Because
know
I
if
guess we
wouldn't-
find the purpose of our life. Like,
Yeah.
when before it was more about, and it's still about us, like what we feel by keep dancing. Now it's also what gratitude we can give to the people
Yeah.
to watching us dance.
Yeah.
And it is very rewarding, because it's like, it doesn't matter. Okay, we pass through stages, right? And I always had these kind of things to think, like, to have a skepticism to the people when they say dancing is more about what you can get from the people, not what you give to the people. And I'm like, yeah, but first I have to fulfill myself in order to get something from outside.
Right.
And it's true, because we develop our dancing, therefore we won the competition, therefore we won the world championship, therefore we won Blackpool, we won any single competition we danced right now. And but the most important things is, like, when we get in that floor and somebody from up to stage to the seat can feel what we are doing, and maybe let them cry, or maybe let them smile. This is what is the most, I think, powerful things in dancing,
Yes.
in our art.
Absolutely. Yeah. To move the people.
Yeah.
To move the people. Yeah.
We have a saying here at our studio that the kids are supposed to go out and share their soul. That's a priority, number one priority. Go out and share your soul. And we notice and recognize that not everybody can win. Not everybody's going to win the championship.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that we try to emphasize often is that along the way, they have to share their soul, because that's what's going to fulfill them.
Mm-hmm.
And in many cases, that comes with a championships.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
in some it doesn't, and if it doesn't, they better have done something that made their soul fulfilled.
Mhm.
So it's great to hear you say that, because I think in so many instances as I teach my kids, they hear me say that and they go, yeah, just but I want the
Right.
trophy. You want me to share your soul, but,
Yeah.
but tell me how to fix my rumba walk, you know. And and they kind of hear it, but they don't quite listen.
Yes.
Yeah.
This I don't know that I could answer this, but I'm going to ask you anyway, and maybe you can answer it. What's your favorite dance?
Oh, yeah, that's a difficult question. No, well, I think so. Rumba for me.
Okay.
Yeah,
Why?
it's very sensual. It has a time, music. Yeah, I like the music and the sensuality of it.
Yeah. How about you?
We when the people used to ask the same question to us, right? Because it's kind of common questions, and the funny way to answer was like, it's like having 5 kids. You cannot tell me which one I love the most,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
because all of them give you, they're different, and all of them give you something.
Yeah.
And one day they make you smile, one day they make you cry. So it doesn't matter which one. The beautiful thing is to overcome the difficult part of be the best in each of them, and it's not easy to be able to become what the dancing is about. Like the samba has one feeling, the cha-cha has another feeling, the rumba is another feeling, but also the mood you can create on the single dance. It's a completely different. It's like time travel situation where you have to put yourself in a club, or you have to put yourself in a street of Brazil. It depends on what you own in tango or in Balearic tango in Argentina. So it's all different kind of things that we go beyond what is the mechanical and the technical aspect and try to create the mood. So which one do we like the most? It's the same thing. So which food do you like the most? It depends of the day. It depends if I want to have fish or meat or no, even either one, just vegetable. Doesn't happen like this, but anyway. But yeah, it's kind of tricky question.
It's hard. I don't know how to answer that question. People ask me all the time, and just what day it is.
Yeah, it's true.
Hard.
It's true.
What in all of your years of dancing, what dance do you feel was the hardest for you to attain a good mastery of technically? Which dance do you think is the hardest?
Which one do you think?
It's also period of time. I was, for example, understand paso doble, and we know one way, paso doble, how it's supposed to be, but the real and from the history, where it's come from and how you want to portray this, it's totally different.
Yeah.
And actually, Donnie helped us a lot with that.
Nice.
That was difficult to understand, but then when you got it, that's become kind of more challenge to do more of it.
Yeah.
So you understand more.
Yeah.
But I must say, samba, I think technically one of the most difficult dance.
For me, probably the one with the most amount of challenge was the jive. And I'll tell you why. Because probably it's the last dance. Therefore, people think like, okay, by the last dance, the judges already made the mind up. So what's the point to practice more? And everybody is practicing a lot rumba. Rumba walk, rumba walk, rumba walk. And I think I was lacking of a lot of knowledge in jive. And the one that helped me the most really is Tony and Heidi, and some teacher also in England, that it start to give me some ideas what it was jive about. I guess with the age also understanding is important and feel is important. Like to understand what kind of historical things you try to portray. And obviously also the dancing is changing on it.
Yeah.
Probably the second dance beside jive was the rumba, then still working on it. Because as I know, everybody has a different opinion, and everybody has even technically they would say the same identical things. Ultimately, when they see it and they judge, they might judge different.
Yeah.
and we wonder why, and I wonder myself why.
Right.
And it's more about what you can get out from the dance. So, yeah, without forgetting about the other three ones that we're still working, but it's okay. That's I think it's life process.
You guys have such a history of winning and titles and accomplishments, and so many of the kids coming up the ranks that we work with don't have those titles yet, don't have that success and haven't found it, but they're starting to work hard and they're starting to understand how to work hard. But I do see often that they get discouraged because they're not finding success and they're not the judges aren't marking them yet. Did you have any times when you weren't winning or when you weren't having some success, and how did you get through that? How did you make it through those periods of time?
Yes, we constantly have this time. It's not like we have had this time. We constantly have this time. And mostly it's also after the major event. It's not about the result. It's about, again, the next stage of your achievement. Yeah. And the most discouraging things is like after you dance and everybody says to you, well done, you did a great job, and you watch the video, you're like, there is still a lot of missing on it. And they might say, no, it was great. But when you look yourself, you're like, no, really, it's missing something. And, well, how to overcome that? Looking forward for the next stage. Mm-hmm. Like, that's why we keep travel to California to have a lesson with Donny.
Sure.
Because he's our muse and inspiring us for the next level of the dancing.
Sure.
And instead of to cry or what you're missing, you have to move forward and look forward for what is next.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Even though we had also breakdown moments and when you feel like that's it, want to stop dancing, and usually it lasts one day, and then you're back to the studio. Yeah.
Sure.
But I don't know, it's something inside. Yeah, you definitely have to have a nice, like good inspiration. Somebody could inspire you and also guide you, and you can trust.
Yeah.
So if you have somebody who you can trust and he can guide you, you just go with this.
Sure.
So it's difficult, to say how to overcome this and how to continue. You have to be mentally strong too.
Yeah.
Not just physically or
And I think
talented.
the most important thing is to fall in love with what you're doing. If
Right.
you really fall in love with the dancing, yeah, you might be disappointed. Yeah, you might be crying. Yeah, you don't want to do, but love is love.
Right.
You can avoid. So ultimately, you're gonna come back no matter what.
You said you have to be mentally strong. What have you guys done to gain that strength through the years? Anything particular?
Overcome a lot of
Huh?
overcome a lot of lose, a lot of undefeated place, competition.
That make you strong.
Yeah.
To keep going.
And then,
Yeah.
To keep going. Yeah, the most important, keep going.
people
because you
remember the
never know.
success. They don't remember what you did when you were not successful.
Yeah. Right.
And actually now in international was funny because I was waiting to get on the floor, and one of our friend mostly, they said to me, they was asking me, do you remember when you were not walking into the next round, or you never had this problem? I said, no, I remember. I remember even I was not able to dance at the Royal Berthold, stopping on the 90 in Brentwood.
Yeah.
And I said, and even now I bless every time I walk on the floor.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like,
It's a different
really?
challenges, definitely. It's
Sure.
not like easy, you just come out. You have your responsibilities also.
Right.
To be also the champion, how to be on top of everybody, and it's also a hard thing. But definitely we went through this, through all the stages in our life, to be out from the second round, from the first round, watching in Blackpool in this, like on the bar stool, watching the
Yeah, from the back.
And for this, it's
semi-finals.
very important to have a good
Finals.
relationship with your partner.
Yeah.
Like when we start to dance, we were not together. Like,
Right.
And we end up to marry each other.
Yeah.
So, but
Just
it's
recently, right?
Yeah.
Last year?
Like, yes. And how I said in the speech of the wedding, I said the most important things I find in our relationship is the support that we had each other on the bad time, not only on the most beautiful moment.
Right.
Because she never stopped trust me, and I never stopped trusting her on the ability to be able to go forward, like to work together and to overcome the difficult part of the dancing. It's a big part of life.
Yeah, I think also very important, if you don't get a success straight away, you don't have to split straight away. That's the thing, is like they always blaming each other instead of stay together. The longer you stay, longevity, it's very important.
And for this one, we have very good clean records, right? We didn't change a lot of partners. Overall, no.
Not that much, actually.
And we kept for a long time.
Yes, I had only 2 partners in Russia, and here Max and Riccardo.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Wow. Well, and I remember when we first started seeing you with Max, and I just started my pro career at that time, and you showed up with Max, and we just went, oh my goodness, what is? Oh boy, what happened?
Why? What did you see?
We saw that you were amazing, and we just went.
The show dances.
Just in you competing, and we were brand new pros, and we just looked at it and went, oh my goodness, okay. Well, let's try to shoot for that now. So let's go this route. You mentioned that you just got married, and of course I saw the pictures, on social media, and the pictures were beautiful. For the most part, everything we saw up looked like you should have been an advertisement for how somebody's dream wedding should be. It came
this way. I don't
know.
It was
beautiful. It was
it's
beautiful.
Actually come out very nice. We didn't even expect that. And the video they made it
was amazing.
Beautiful.
Yeah, the
with
video.
The drone and everything. I didn't even expect it was going to be this way.
Well, did you plan the wedding yourselves, or did you have somebody do it for you, or was this all your idea? All your ideas?
The idea was ours. We of course we had the people helping us, because traveling and dancing was no chance. There was a lot of messaging, WhatsApp, Facebook, or whatever, back and forward, mostly with the pictures. And Italy has one of the most beautiful landscape. I mean, you cannot, food and places, it's difficult to make mistake in Italy.
Yeah.
People, we can talk about it, organization and things like, but likely we had a good team working for us. So everything worked well, but
and the weather.
A lot of work of Yulia sending pictures.
Yeah.
Yes, I wanna like.
I wanna like this, and me behind asking
Yulia,
how much,
worry.
how much.
And Italian, don't worry. No, don't worry.
Don't
Show
worry.
me the picture.
And tell me the price.
Erika, then price.
She was more the picture, me she was almost the budget.
Well, you didn't wear your ring today. I saw your ring last night. It was amazing.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Did
you pick it out, or did he?
We together.
Yeah.
We together.
Nice.
We did it. Yes.
Wow. And really, what I was going to get at is, how hard or easy do you think it is to dance with your spouse? Because I teach a lot of college kids, and oftentimes I tell them, let's try to get the partnership down before you start dating or before you get involved, because it's very challenging, at least from what we've seen, for these kids to get in a relationship, and then next thing I know, they're breaking up, and then the partnership breaks up, and oh my goodness.
Yes.
So what has your experience been in terms of relationships within the dance?
Well, we delayed our relationship, like our personal relationship, because of dancing.
Right.
Like one of the things that we discussed straight away after we start to date each other was like, is it because of the dancing that we like each other, or is it because really there is like a deep feel that we want to continue in our life? Because at some point the dancing gonna finish,
right?
But I don't wanna lose my wife, because of the dancing is finished,
right?
So, and that's why we delayed a lot to get involved, engaged, and then get married.
Sure.
But it is difficult. It's challenging.
Yeah.
It's about how clever you can be in a certain moment in life, how easy you can adjust yourself, adapt yourself to the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And for example, I'm the one that if we have something going on during the practice, when we leave, it's already over.
Right.
You is a little bit the one that something is getting on in the practice all day long like this until something is changed.
And I got a lot of kisses and this. I'm kidding. Well, for me, I think so. Dancing, it's already like a marriage.
Sure.
You have to treat your partner as like close to you and be together for good and for bad too.
Right.
Good results, bad results. You have to go together. You have to make decisions, and I think it's like another marriage. So when we get married, I didn't feel like really different.
Right.
The only thing it's really you feel like, oh, that's for us now.
Right.
Everything. So definitely for us. This is it. When you look
This
at
is
him,
it.
this is it.
That was there, right?
Yes.
Nice.
And respect.
I hear yesterday when we picked you up from the airport, we asked you what you'd like, and you said, oh, fruit and salad, and then you said, but maybe pasta when we're celebrating. How important is what you eat for your dancing right now? And because a lot of our kids would like to head that direction and fuel their bodies more correctly. So how important is it to you guys? And what do you do?
It's very important. Of course, it's individual.
Sure.
We try to eat clean as much as we can, but you still have to treat yourself. You have to give yourself something like good for your soul, whatever it is, Nutella, or it's grapes, or it's whipped cream, or it's ice cream. You should do it, but not like it's overcome. So it's kind of, you have to be smart and feel it.
Right.
But we eat more.
But also you have to look good. Yeah.
You have to look good, yes.
Yeah. No, it's not just about. One thing is very important.
Yes,
is like,
especially now.
especially when the people looking at you, right? For example, if we will let ourselves go a little bit and say, okay, let's celebrate. Let's have a little bit of sweet today and the sweet tomorrow, and you lose what is the sharpness of the quality of your body.
Sure.
And it's very important that when you get on the floor, people see you fit.
Right.
Tone.
And everything is like you work on the posture, you work on leg action, you work on the hip action to look sleek, to look easy, to look fast, to look flexible, to look like. And then most of the people missing the point. Like if I see and there is like an extra roll over the over the belt, it's like, man, you should be take care, not me as a teacher, not me as a coach.
Right.
You understand what I mean? So it's important that you understand what you need.
Right.
Clean food, obviously.
Somebody
a lot of
need nutrition,
vegetables
somebody
that
need
I
a
cannot
gym,
have it, but
maybe.
I'll try my best.
Everybody different. Even
Right.
I know the same person who does the same as me, but different still feels.
Sure.
So that means it needs something else. Something need, like for me, I need constantly stretching. I need this. I'm not like that flexible, so I have to take care of that stuff.
Most people wouldn't know that or say that.
Yeah.
So you have to work at it.
I do.
It's so
of course,
important
I
that-
do very much.
that.
Even this morning, I had to stretch myself.
Oh, jeez. Did you hire a person to help you with your nutrition, or did you just figure out what worked for you?
We did it. I did it, and it was not successful because I don't think. They can give you a guidance, but they cannot tell you exactly what you need.
Right.
So ultimately, you have to experiment on yourself.
I see.
You have to be very critical to yourself to see, for example, if you dance 5 dance and you feel like weak. If it's a week, because you're not eating enough, or is a week because you're not training enough.
Right.
If it's not like the muscle are not big enough, or you have to check yesterday when we spoke about exercise, compensation exercise.
Sure.
Yeah, a lot of people has a problem because of knee problem, because of a lot of
Right.
exercise or movement that we do, joint and things like. But ultimately, what are you doing around to reinforce your muscle or to avoid that one?
Right.
You understand what I mean? When every time you do a new exercise, a new movement, and it will take a while before you mastering that movement, and there are going to be a lot of mistakes on it. That's where you have to think how to get your body ready for it.
Right.
For example, in my experience, before I start to dance seriously, and I was talking about with Joanne, joined my amateur cup, my amateur partner, Australian, when I was in Italy. I did 3 years at sport university, and that completely changed my view towards the dancing, because before dancing was hobby.
Sure.
I was not thinking about the food. I was not thinking about stretching, exercise,
Right.
after workouts, nothing. What do I need? What I don't need? I don't know. I can dance. I dance. That's it. That's why my
What
body
about
probably
body?
was a little bit better than Latin, because my body was not ready to dance Latin, no
see.
matter what.
Right.
And in ballroom, in a way, even if it's not like this, but before, when you wear your tail suit and everything, you cover up. It's not like a big
Right.
problem, right?
Right.
But yeah, in that 3 years, I did a lot of gymnastic, a lot of sport, and understanding, and nutrition, and food, and what is this about? What make you change? And when I got back to the dancing, my body was different.
Right.
If I see the picture before and after, it looked completely different person. And then from there, it was easy to move.
Right.
And when the body is ready, set up to move, I guess you just need how to move.
Yeah.
To know how to move.
We have so many different shapes and sizes and people because of the colleges that are in this area. And so we deal with a lot of different people. And one of the things that we found is the psychology behind working with people that are maybe a little bit overweight or a little bit not fit is hard, because we feel like talking to the girls about it specifically. The boys, not so much. The boys, it's a little easier. You know, if I tell a boy, hey, you need to go drop some weight, they go, okay, we'll go drop some weight. You know, and it's not there's nothing personal about it. But what I find in ballroom specifically is there's this sort of pink elephant in the room about girls with their weight and their physique. And one of the things that I try to put focus on is you need to be in the physical shape that you need to be in to execute what you're trying to execute. What have you guys done in terms, you teach a lot of people, you work with a lot of people, what have you done to help people? Do you just tell them straight up? I mean, are you guys in a position where you can just come in and go, listen, you just need to drop the weight, go?
Yeah, right.
Or do you still feel like that you have to kind of dance around it a little bit? Because I do find that it's a challenge with
Always a
with
big
girls,
challenge.
Yes.
right? Because we don't want to hurt their mentality, and I don't want them to become anorexic or have an eating disorder.
This is the fears, right?
You know, so how have you found that there's a good way to deal with that?
Yeah, I think close to you students, maybe you can say that, but not like to everyone. I cannot say this, even to close one. I have to be very careful, psychologically supportive.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they can be like a breakdown. I understand. I know myself too. It's very painful, but that's where it is going now. Dancing.
Yeah.
The look should be good first. And then already the dancing what you put. So it's very important how you look.
Right.
The beauty, the dressing, the tanning, everything. And very important there also the physique, the tone of the body, everybody trying to get the muscle like this and everything. And it's good, yeah. But it doesn't need to be muscle and everything, but it should be a look tone. So it could be anything, starting with the foot.
Right.
I believe so. It's starting with the foot, not right. It's not right foot what they use. So
you said something that was interesting. You said you should want to do it because you see that you need your body to be better.
Exactly.
And I feel like for maybe those listeners out there that are dancers that are looking at it and asking themselves, hey, I wonder if I need to be in better shape. I think they have to ask themselves, do I need, am I ready to do that to be able to execute the thing that I'm doing?
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, we are not good to, I'm personally very bad to tell the people, you have to lose weight, or you have to wear this one, or comb your hair, or something like that. I don't, because I feel embarrassed myself.
Sure.
If somebody would tell me, I would feel uncomfortable.
Right.
But then I accept. If the coach telling me something, I will accept. Then I feel uncomfortable to tell the people what I have to do. Even sometimes the way you say to me, you have to start to think to lose a weight because in 2 weeks you have a competition. And I'm like, me? Are you kidding me? So, and I was like, that is the outside. The inside is like, damn, I have to.
Yeah.
And that's like the regime is starting, like,
Right.
to not having it. What we find very helpful sometimes is to share with them, like to take them in our world. Like what we do, for example, now, we share what the people, where we come from, what we did it, what we're doing. And the same things with our couple, with the couple that we train the most, that we want them to look great and feel comfortable and everything. We take them in our world a little bit, we spend extra time, and we say, like, today I had, for example, only salad, because I felt that my body, I need to be tied up and things like this.
Sure.
And somehow it's passing through because they try to be like you.
Sure.
So they take you like an example. I think on the other side, to say do not eat is not good things.
Right.
Because how you said, there is a people a little bit weak mentally, and they can even follow you to not eat, and then they're gonna be anorexic. So you want to be anorexic or bulimic to be responsible for that kind of problem in life, right?
Yeah.
But then I also believe that if you have to exercise, you have to find some fuel. So you cannot stop eating anyway.
Right.
So or you increase the practicing, or you reduce your food, either one, or you change the way you eat. And we ask them, what are you eating? What do you have for breakfast? What do you have for lunch? What do you have for dinner?
Sure.
Because that's what is the build up to the competition. It's not like before the competition you have to be so careful. It's not about this. You can, before, is a few weeks before, a month before, it depends on what is your body type and shape and age, that you have to be careful.
Right.
But it's a lot of research you can do by yourself.
It also depends how good they want to be.
Right.
If they want to do it for themselves, that's good. It's like for pleasure.
Sure.
If they want to come out on the competition, that's already another story. So,
do you guys do you go to the gym on any sort of regular basis, or do you have a personal trainer for your physical element?
Yeah, Riccardo has me, and I have Riccardo.
We go to gym. We try to go as much as we can, even though we travel a lot.
Sure.
We mostly
but it depends
go.
of the training. Like, for example, if we go to California, our lesson starts 7 a.m. So we're awake 5, and we're in the studio should be 1 hour before. Wow. So of course no gym, because from there we are till evening, and then at the end maybe even we're teaching. So it's just body exhausted. You don't need to exhaust even more.
Right.
So if we have a little bit of calm down, and we feel, especially in the vacation, we do gym.
Especially in the vacation.
Especially in the vacation, Riccardo has to go to gym.
Dancing. Riccardo, Yulia go to gym.
I think whoever's listening probably just fell out of their seat.
Yeah.
Wait, especially on your vacation?
Yes.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
So
okay.
far, we never had
You can
vacation
have
without
your
dance
days
shoes.
off.
Can you believe it?
Never?
Never.
What do you?
Like every time we went for vacation, one of the things to stay inside the suitcase is still dance shoes. How embarrassing is that?
I think who's listening? Okay, quit dancing.
We might don't wear them. We might don't wear, but we have a dance
We have
shoes
them
with
just in case.
Just in case. Just in case. It's true.
Okay. I know I'm bouncing a little bit, but I forgot to ask you, because you were on that beautiful yacht when you got married, and I couldn't help but think, did you get seasick?
No.
Did you, like, you're on a boat? I'd be worried that I'd get sick.
No, I was very, very calm. Huh?
It looked super calm.
I mean, for me, I was, of course, nervous. I don't even remember how I felt. But definitely the boat stopped when it was like little ceremony.
Nice.
But even there before, it was not rough. It was flat.
No,
completely.
I was down anyway.
Yeah, she was hided, by the
I
way.
was hided.
Because I didn't. I didn't
because
have
they
to
went
see now
to the
dress.
rocks.
You didn't get to see the dress until?
No. From the night before
that's
of the
so
wedding, she just
Yeah.
disappeared. I'm like, where are you?
Yeah.
Nice. Did you bring both of your families to the wedding?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It was small event.
It was
but
small, yeah, just for family and
close.
to us people who was in our life.
Nice. Well, later on, you should sell all those pictures to magazines for wedding, because they could use it for advertisements. Okay, so let me jump back here just a little bit. What would be your advice to those competitors that they're working hard, they're running a good regiment, they're trying to be disciplined and work hard, but they're not seeing success yet? What would be your advice to them I mean, we're not talking just about your average hobbyist, but like the kids that are working hard and they're pushing and they're doing essentially the right things. What's your advice to them in their dancing?
I think, of course, yeah, it's difficult to say, but try to find the work what they do every day. First of all, it's everything possible. Dreams come true. So the second thing, of course, the workaholics, they always, it's always good to have this workaholic in you.
Yeah.
So because it's always gonna pay off. I do believe that. And try to work not just only for success, for the love for dancing, to be better every day, to be better who you are, and to achieve like small goals, little by little.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be getting to the next round or final or to be the champion. For yourself, what you want to achieve, how you want to be strong on the legs, better posture, rhythmical music. I think that's more healthy.
Right.
And it's not going to be so disappointing.
Right.
But find for yourself small goals and work that.
Yeah.
And definitely work pays off at the end.
Yeah.
It's very much case by case. Like, even though we had a lot of experience in our life, training couples that they try the best and they do a lot, and it seems like you are the ideal couple. Why don't you have a result?
Right.
And but there is still something that is missing into it, and maybe if we don't see it, somebody else can see it. I advise everybody to have one single coach, because to have a different one is not that good. But at some point you also have to have a different one to have a different feedback.
Right.
And maybe one of them can give you something else that you are missing, that I don't see it. So I don't mind also to share couple with other teachers, because in order for you to change, to getting better, sometimes you have to get worse. It doesn't have to be better all the time.
Right.
And changes in life is very important. Adapt yourself into what you're doing is very important. Maybe experimenting is very also important. Like, to not just follow rules. Sometimes try to bend the rules as much as you can to have a feedback. Use a lot of imagination, a lot of dream. And again, if the result is not happening, try to understand why. Right. Try it yourself. Ask around. Investigate in it, because it must be a reason. It cannot be just because you're not talented and you shouldn't dance, because I don't believe it.
Right.
It wasn't for us like this, and it was not for a lot of champions like this.
Right.
Like, I don't know why we are where we are, but for sure we put a lot of effort in what we're doing now. And we try to cover up every single things that is around the dancing. Food, fashion, the way you want to look, the way we travel, the way we speak with the people, the way we interact with the people. It's everything thought. It was and learned. It was not something that we were born with. You understand what I mean?
Right.
So there is a lot of science underneath, and I think there is always a way for everybody to arrive to win what? Not to win the competition, but to win, to overcome your next level, to getting better, to get success for yourself. And maybe one day you realize that the dancing was a tool for you to improve in life, and you need to do something else. Or you want to do something else.
Sure.
But definitely, there is always a way. And stop searching, stop investigating, stop dreaming is not good.
Right. There's a common thought, and I assume you know this, and so if you don't, I don't know how that's possible, but the general dance world as a whole, and okay, this is a big gross generalization because I'm going to speak for the dance world as a whole, and I understand that I live in Utah.
One? Black hole?
Yeah, black hole. Yeah, but from pretty much every person that I've ever spoken to in the last 8 years, everybody believes that you have the best legs and feet of any woman all time ever, and this is
you are.
This
don't
is
make this face.
This is such a common thought, and there's been a lot of great dancers before us and before you, and I think I hear this so commonly, though. I hear this from so many people that are the greats of our past generations, and it seems to be a common agreement that you have the greatest legs and feet ever. And I wonder, is it something that you focus on specifically? Did you know that that's a common thought amongst the industry? And is that a focus that you try to put on yourself, or is that just what's happened based off of your training?
First, it was very, very sweet, Michael. Thank you so much. I really, honestly, I don't feel that way, of course, because I have my coaches who's my idols, and I actually taking till now watching the videos I admire and learn from it. Let's say again, Fairweather, yes,
sure.
She has a beautiful, gorgeous leg action and feet. Well, what I could say nowadays, the dancing became more detailed, and everything, even the leg action, it's more detailed and more obvious what we do, and maybe that way it developed, could be. I know that I had a strong legs since like I was going to college. I did a little bit ballet, but it was like a school subject, and I know I had a little bit of power to get the jetés and everything. Extension I had a little bit, like pretty much. So, and that's how it went. Maybe I had a feel that I have this the good kind of leg action, but I don't think so. They're always constantly good, and I'm keep working on it. And I'm so blessed to hear that the people think this way. And but I can tell you that till now I'm still working on the legs. Even the last lesson, Donnie was saying, cushion your heel, ankle. It's still now. Whatever you develop, but you still keep working on that.
Yeah. Do you put an emphasis on trying to show off that asset in
Of course.
Is
From
that
day
something
one.
you think about?
Well, that's part of our game, no? It's like it depends what is the weapon in our dancing.
Sure.
Like, we from day one, when I choose to dance together, was definitely because of Yulia, was for me was the best so far on the floor, on the time. And the reason why I put myself back in Challenger was because it was the only chance I had. It was to dance with somebody like Yulia. And he said to me, somebody likes like no, somebody like Yulia. Take off the somebody like, but I won't dance with Yulia. And at the beginning it was like, maybe it's not possible. And then again, dream come true, and I was able to dance with Yulia. And of course, I know that she's the beauty in a partnership, and she has this high quality. And definitely, she's working every day. What she's doing, it's not like just blessed and. Like she take it easy, or people might think she sit on the chair and I'm practicing my Rumba walk, and she's like, do one more time, darling. It's not the case. No, actually, she's the one opposite. Early in the morning up, and she's doing everything. Like no doubts about it. For this one, she has way more work ethic than me, I guess. But yeah, I know Yulia's quality, and the important things in a partnership, you have to know what you have in order for you to use. And our partnership is built around what I can lead and what she able to react on it, and that's what we did from day one.
How specifically do you practice? Do you do 1, 2, 3 hours? Do you do all day long? What kind of practice do you do? Because a lot of the dancers out there are looking at it going, okay, we should practice 8 hours a day, and then they come in and they sit down for 3 of them, but they feel good because they were at the studio for 8 hours, But
Yeah.
what do you do? What is your regiment if somebody was going to model your practicing?
Well, our life is now especially very different because we're traveling a lot. We also have to do performance competitions, and it's different a little bit than the normal life, like getting to the competition. But definitely, if we practice, we don't take like breaks and sitting and watching videos or something. So if we go, and I would say my body can handle 3 hours, full 3 hours, 2.5, and then start to already go.
Right.
So then you can have a break and you can come back if you want to. But for us, a good 3 hours, it's good practice.
Sure.
I would say, especially staying in a heel and in a shoe already.
Yeah.
For me, 3 hours, I have to take them off.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but if you have like breaks and you can do 2 hours break and then again 2 hours or 1.5 hours. Sometimes it could be even enough 1.5.
Sure.
Sometimes 3 hours not enough. It depends what you do, of course. But for us, if we do intense and we practice not like halfway, we do fully.
Yeah.
Without music, then we put music. We try piece with the music. Again, depends, of course, what you do.
Right.
Yeah, but we try a full out like you do on the competition. Because if you're marking, it's not a practice. Yeah, so it's kind of just passing through, the steps.
We travel together, so we start to plan our practice before to get in the studio.
Sure.
Like we bet every day we probably have 30 minutes, 40 minutes to go to the city, more or less. When we're in New York, in a car, we are talking about what we have to do in a practice. What is the feeling of the previous competition? What we wanna, if you're happy, you wanna change, and she has idea where to work on the feet, and the work on the leg. What we saw that we didn't like it, so we pre-plan our practicing. When we go there, time to warm up, and work start. Because we don't want to waste time. Like how you said, sometimes you spend the whole day in the studio, but it's a different practice.
Right.
It's not a practice where you can, you can use the time on the best you can do. It's just like a day practice there. I mean, it's like a lot of time off, I think, because 8 hours, in our opinion, it's almost impossible to practice.
Sure.
Practice as a moving and standing on your leg and use your muscle and things like this.
Yeah.
But under the time before the competition, sometimes we go back to the studio, like in the evening or in the morning, afternoon, and evening, 3 times, 2 times, depends where we are. Do practice, run through, just mark certain things, and then you dance through. You know how Yulia said, we don't believe on just mark through the stuff. You might can discuss about this, but then when you have to touch each other when you dance, you have to train.
Right.
It's not just understanding. Understanding is when you have a lesson. That's why we go to have a lesson, and we try to understand what we do, and then we execute. We do it.
Right.
150%.
Right.
Otherwise,
And very important.
it doesn't work in the body.
Yeah, and very important repetition.
Oh.
So if you do, the more you do, repeat, even if it's working once, second time doesn't work, and then you again do it, and maybe it doesn't work, and it doesn't work, and then it's working, so then you come next day, you repeat the same thing.
Nice.
And that's how it is. Repetition, very important.
Yeah. I think I see that there's a deficiency with the younger kids in the repetition category. They go, oh yeah, I got it right, and then they're done.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And then
And that is
on
no.
they go, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
no repetition.
Absolutely. No.
But it's not exciting, and I tell them, you have to do things that aren't glamorous. You
Yeah.
have to, and repetition isn't glamorous.
Yeah.
It's just you got to get it in your body.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay. What have you found in your practice time that absolutely doesn't work?
If
In
I
our
start to
practice
talk.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
That's true, actually.
If I start to talk, that's it. Give a chance for leader.
Okay.
No,
Yes.
that's not true. Come on. It's not like you start to talk. When you start to moan, it's different.
Yeah. No, you have to be clever, especially for the lady.
Mhm.
Yeah, because we want to keep our man confident
Mhm.
and feel in charge of it.
Right.
So I think you should give first of all the voice to him.
Right.
Yeah, of course he wants to know how's the practice, but the best when Riccardo
This
gives
is a register, right? So I can use it against you next time. Did you hear what you
I
said?
just now understand.
Oh.
Before, no. Before, I don't want to do this.
Okay.
I want to
Clear.
do like this. No, try to do what man wants to do first.
Uh-huh.
Like his vision.
Right.
Trust and try to do it. And then if it doesn't work or something, you can always say, but don't say straight away no.
Right.
That's I learned. So that is the practice going to be very healthy. So I think that's that's
sometimes it's difficult to understand. I mean, of course, she's Russian, I'm Italian, and we try to speak English. So just already the try to speak foreign languages for us is a bit limiting ourselves. But even though using the basic element of English, sometimes we don't understand each other.
Right.
So I mean one thing, and she understands another thing. And then when we go in the discussion of, did you understand what I said? Almost the practice is over. So assume she understand, or assume I understand what she said, and try hard, because otherwise we waste so much time. Yeah,
right.
just of.
It's just, you don't need argument, just do.
Don is funny when we have a lesson. He's always like, so he meant.
Yes.
Or it's like, okay, she meant. Yes. And always say, Donnie, can you please translate to her what I mean with it?
He's a translator.
Yeah, yes, for sure. Dancing translator. That's what Google cannot make it.
That's
yet.
right.
But he always say man and woman. That's different understanding.
Because he has experience, so he
knows.
He got it.
I always couldn't understand.
But sometimes they say you're both wrong, so it's okay.
Like,
that in that case, same level.
Well, you need somebody like that can go in and say you're both wrong.
For sure, for sure.
So listen, you two, you do like that. No, teacher is the best, of course.
Yeah,
of course, because you listen to him.
You know, through the years, we all pick up our mentors, and we pick up people that have changed our world and our dancing, and even just our life outside of dancing. And I understand it's hard to name everybody, but who have been some of the most influential mentors that you guys have had?
Like, how I said, dancing, it's a blessing place to be, because in your life, you never know who you meet. And a lot of people that, in the case of was in our wedding, they gave us a lot, not only in the dancing, but also in a life.
Right.
And they shaped who we are right now. Of course, starting from the family. I guess the first big support in our life was the family. That first of all, they believed in us. If they wouldn't believe in Yulia, she wouldn't dancing. They wouldn't believe in me, I wouldn't not be able to dance. So probably that's the big support. And coming from all the era that we went through, a lot of people influenced us. I had obviously Espen for me was probably the bigger coach in a young age that believed in me, because at the time I was trained, I had a lesson with other people. I even had a lesson with Sammy Stover, Barbara McCall from the beginning, and the beautiful things of them, they also believed on me, because I was very young, and Sammy said, and I came to the lesson with a translator because I had no idea about English, and Sammy obviously was not speaking Italian, and he said, who is she? I said, translator. Okay, you're fired. I was like, Sammy, I don't understand, and he's like, don't worry, you will understand. So I think dancing is beyond language. Dancing is give you this sensing of what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And that's where I start to have more interaction with the people. Then Espen gave me a lot in the dancing, and when I asked lesson with him at the beginning, he didn't want to give me, because he didn't believe I was very interested in it. So I had to chase him for 1 year. Oh, and ultimately he gave me a chance. So I had the ability to have a lesson with him, and there we start to open up like a book. Because when he said to me, what do you know? And at the beginning I was like, I know everything about dancing. And he started to ask me a question. I said, okay, let's stop, because I don't know nothing about the dancing. Can we start from scratch? And he had a laugh, and he started to direct me in the dancing. Of course, we had a period of time when we worked also with Shirley Ballas that gave also the opportunity to meet each other, because if it was not for her, we couldn't start to dance together.
Right.
And then obviously path changed direction, and we started a big part of our dancing career with Donnie Burns and Heidi.
Right.
And of course, with Donny came also again and Mirko and all the rest of the people that we have lesson in England. As I said, it's difficult to give the idea which one gave you the most, because I think all of them gave us a lot. And till now, we have a lot of interaction with them. Like after here, we go to California to have a lesson with Donny.
Sure.
Because the world is coming. And I think probably so far in the dancing, he's the closest person to us.
Right.
He gave like probably the last chance in our life to be better,
Right.
to develop.
Longevity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I had a few people. I was lucky enough to have around me people who supporting and emotionally and also financially. I'm very blessed with that, especially like in Russia. I had my teacher who believe in me, who kind of push me and even help me with even to take lessons with the overseas first time, Carol McCrild, and give the money. So I'm very thankful for that. And then coming to America, and of course surely open up all the world outside. And I think now Donny is our like father.
Yeah.
Really, really close, and he really opened another big chapter. What I think like I would stop dancing maybe before, but now when he opened, I want to dance more and more.
Yeah.
And actually, I have a lot of inspiration, and everybody say like, "Where you get this inspiration?" I don't know. We got our inspiration, and he's one big part for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That family gave us a lot. Donny and Heidi, so
You
far,
can
they are the one.
imagine how much it's a lot. Yeah. So
But in everything, also in life. I mean, they are.
also in life,
They
beside
have
the
this beautiful
experience
son,
in
Domenico,
dancing.
that we are blessed to be the godparents.
Mhm.
So, and it's beautiful to see this little man growing, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's even looking forward something else in life.
Sure.
So it's, yeah.
Well, speaking of looking forward, our company names surround this idea of magic, right? And our studio's Dance Magic, and this podcast is Magic for Life, and we believe that there's this magic in our world and in dancing and in our lives that we should be seeking out. And I think so many people are avoid this idea, and it's not magic like crazy froofy weird stuff, but magic in the sense that we should find the magic moments that make our life incredible. What kind of things in the future are you guys looking forward to that you think will be magical for you in the future?
I think to have a kid.
Yeah. Definitely have a family.
Yeah.
To have a kid, yes, that's interesting. I think that's gonna be a magical. It's like gonna be another Blackpool to win.
A few of it.
Yes, a few of it. Yeah, that's
Nice.
a miracle, I guess.
Mhm.
So I hope
The
universe can
magic-
give us.
I think the magic is all the way around us. Like in everyday life, there is a magic. In everything you do, you should find this beautiful part of what you're doing. And of course, in our future is the fulfill of a family, have a kids and everything. And if God give us this bless, we're gonna take on board. We're gonna enjoy as much as we can. If not, we're gonna move it out in something else. It's not like this. But yeah, we're still a dreamer. We believe.
Yeah.
And we believe in magic.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So we believe in magic. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here, or we wouldn't be what we are and dancing what we dance.
Yeah. All right. And what about currently? I mean, that's the future. What kind of things on a daily basis do you guys find? Like, what are your magic moments on a daily basis? Not just like in the future, but just every day.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking.
What?
I'm your magic, right? In everyday life,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe sound cheesy, but just to wake up and be able to do, what we love the most, is already magical.
Absolutely. That we're healthy and we could able to do that our maximum. Yeah, I think so. Just magic that we can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. With each other, and we love each other, and we dance together, and I mean, what could be more beautiful? Yeah.
So we have some young kids, my own children. You said, in the future you hope to have a family, and I have 4 kids. 2 of them are already dancing, and a couple years back, when you guys came last time, you took a couple pictures with my children, and it's really cool because they look up to you guys, and my son has your picture on his phone, and it's really cool, So I want you guys to know that maybe even when you don't realize it, there are a lot of kids, a lot of people that that look up to you, and they take a picture with you here or there, and it's made a huge difference, for my kids and my son being able to kind of go, okay, yeah, he's the world champion. Look, he's taking a picture with me, and he cares about our dancing, and it's pretty cool, So you guys are doing cool things. You guys are.
That's the magic too.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's important for people to realize that maybe that don't know you or haven't had a chance to meet you, that you guys are pretty cool people.
Thank you, Michael.
And
we're down to earth.
it's so true, and we bring in a number of coaches into the studio. Many of them are divas, and many of them, are just very interesting.
It's right to be. I'm not saying
you guys come and you treat our kids so wonderfully. You treat our studio so wonderfully, and you guys are the epitome of what I hope our kids will aspire to be like in terms of becoming champions.
Thank you.
We believe in this idea that ballroom is for life, and it's not just for us dancers, but we believe that there's a avenue for people out there that maybe just want to learn to dance in their living room, and whether they just want to do a little basic cha-cha in their living room,
yes,
it'll change their life. And I don't think they have to be world champions to do that, but I can say that we are in great hands if our world champions to come can follow in your footsteps. Because
thank you. We hope so. We hope. I'm not saying follow. I think it should be even better. The only thing we say to them is just like, remember where you came from.
Right.
Because sometimes you leave the experience of life where you are, and you become in your inner what you are, a diva.
Yeah.
And I always think like, you were not like this, or when you, or maybe they were like this, and rightly they are. In our situation, we choose to not be because it didn't help us. Yeah. I guess we always have an experience in life where episode in life where it always brings you back to down to earth. Like
I was
don't
there.
forget it.
Even like simple like photos of the competition after show, it's sometimes overwhelming too.
Sure.
Like this, and then I always put myself like, please, can I have a photo again? Already, we're at the end. We're already standing like 40 minutes and everything, and I'm like, sorry, and then come here. Yes, because I know I've been the same. So I wanted the same thing photo, and I know how he feels and want this. So I always put myself on his shoe. So I understand, and we try our best to fulfill their dreams, their wishes, and hopefully become.
That's also part of a business, no? It's just not about get his shoes, change, get on the floor, dance, and leave. I don't think that is only part that we are trained and what we belong to. It's like the big part is what you can leave to the people, and how much you can make them feel, or again, what you can change in them life, hopefully better,
right?
Not in worse. Maybe sometimes can be worse. I don't know, but it's always like even now, sometimes we have messages from people that we worked when we were like 20s,
Yeah.
and they still thank you for what you did it, and I think this is priceless.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we I was talking to one of my colleagues the other day, and he even still talks about some of the lessons he had with Donnie years ago.
Yeah.
Because Donnie changed his life. And it wasn't that he worked with Donnie on a regular basis or anything like that, but he had taken some lessons with Donnie, and Donnie had changed his path and changed his life. And it's such a cool thing to see. We say ballroom for life. What do you think ballroom has taught you for your life outside of dance? What do you think has been some of the best
Work
lessons?
ethic,
Yeah.
focus, way to be. Like, you have to be, I think, in a dancing, you have to be slightly early adult, because you have to behave properly when you are in any situation.
Right.
Like when you put yourself in posture, like when you walk on the street and you can see who one is the dancer, who is not.
Yeah.
Just the way they behave. Way to overcome bad situation, way to overcome difficult
A
situation.
lot of
like-
things. A lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be a better person for
Yeah.
sure.
And even to see the magic of it, of
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Because if you're not a dreamer, you cannot be a dancer.
Yeah. That's
And
true.
you have to still like be a little bit, I say, cuckoo in a way, right? So part of it, like thinking like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
For me, definitely to be more open.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be more open, expressive, and thankful. Yeah, because being Russian, I am shy, very shy. Maybe not in a dance floor, but in life I'm quite shy. So, but still, dancing helped me a lot to open up myself. Yeah, so to don't be shy to express yourself
Right.
the way you feel. So,
We had a winner of a contest that we did for your upcoming master classes, and they did a motivational speech, because we believe that stuff will help change the world, and if we can put some of that stuff out there, it'll help somebody somewhere in some way. And so this motivational speech was really cool. In fact, it'll be on the podcast. We're going to do an interview with her and let her talk about why she did her speech that way and what she put in it. But I invited her to ask a question for you guys, so we're going to have her come and ask a question before we're done. So, Elena, you want to come over? That way the mic will pick you up. The mic will pick you up. You got to be about here. Yeah.
Okay, so my question is, did you ever have a time in your dance career when you wanted to quit, and how did you keep going?
yeah, we definitely had overwhelming moments, but for some reason it just lasts not so long, just one day or two, and then I want to back and just prove it. I can do it better. It's just something inside of mentality, I guess.
Quit 100% not, but delayed or thinking about maybe, like you have ups and downs in life anyway. And if sometimes you are very euphoric, very happy, very up on yourself, sometimes you have to go down too. And we feel sometimes down, but again, what is keep us going is like, don't forget why you're doing what you're doing. Like, we dance, of course, because we love it. Dancing make us feel better. We dance because it's keep our relationship together. And we dance because we are able to give the people some magic, how we spoke before, some moment where they can, with the mind, they can live another experience, another things, another feel. And that's what is enough, I guess, to go back, to put the shoes back and say, okay, brush the dust off. It's time to start again, and we get on the floor.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
In this coming year, I'll be releasing one of my a new book, and it's about emotional mastery. And my experience with dealing with emotions within dance and teaching people how to find their authentic version of dancing. What kind of experiences have you guys had working on emotions within your dances and bringing that out?
The emotional side is big part of dancing. One of the first actually phrase that we got into the dancing business, like fake it till you make it. and at the beginning it's like, no, you cannot fake it. But actually it's the way you approach the situation. It's like, it's not just about faking it, it's about starting it. Like, another expression is like, if you look yourself in the mirror and you smile at the mirror smiles you back. So in other words, if you don't start to confront your fears, if you don't start to feel like emotional when you dance, sometimes we even cry before to dance. You're like, why you cry? I don't know, I just feel emotional, or other times you do it because you have to do it. Other times you feel empty, and then you're like, oh my God, what happened? Why I don't want to be here? And likely the feeling that we dance so we don't want to be there is not this often. It's like 1%, because we are lucky enough to choose what we want to do. So we choose to dance, therefore we want to dance. And when you're there, competition shows is a different thing. Mastering your emotion, I think, is a huge part of the dancing business, because like somebody under stress, they produce a better performance. Other one under stress, they don't produce performance at all.
Right.
So you break it. Under stress, you break it. And this is what a little bit is the turning point of everybody. Like we saw a couple practicing, and they don't look so good in a practice place, and then when they compete, they look like, wow, that's even better. Or opposite, when they practice, they look beautiful, and when you're on the floor, it's like, where are them? Why are they dancing like this? So the emotional side is very important. Without that, I don't think you are a dancer.
For me, emotional. Actually, for me, was interesting because I had to learn even how to smile. Yes, it was before the first world we won. We started to work with Donny. It was already 1 year, and then he worked with me on the smile. He said, "Smile, eyes, smile." Why do I have to smile? I don't feel this way.
Very right.
But smile.
Why do I need to smile?
And then I start to do it, and then I start to like it. And I smile because I really feel it.
Right.
So exactly, fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
So maybe you need to learn that, to bring that. But definitely it's actually teachable. So at the end it's pleasurable, and you are bigger, and the energy, the aura around you bigger. So that's also, you have to learn. Somebody has it, somebody maybe has to learn.
At least be aware of it.
Sure.
Like, learn some exercise, try, experiment. Like, one of the big fail I had ever in the dancing is like, when you get on the dance floor and you feel like, like you have this butterfly on the stomach, you're like, do I remember my routine? Do I remember like my steps? And what about if I walk and I slide and I fall? Like, if everybody see me fall, or if they see me off balance, or we miss the connection and things that, with all the fears we have all the time, that's probably what is keep us awake in a way, and 100% aware of what we're doing.
Yeah.
But it's how you master them. That's the most important part.
Yeah.
And I think one of the worst was like when I said, I'm not afraid. I was walking in, I was like, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I walk in, I was like, I'm really afraid. And it's like, maybe it's the wrong approach.
Yeah, I sometimes I teach like this, like every movement, every step, you love it. Like you do it, like I love it. And we teach now in Indianapolis, and they start to even joke. I love it. I said, yeah, but
it look better.
good. Yeah,
Exactly.
Because sometimes you just do monotone already,
Yeah.
and like you don't even feel it what you do.
Yeah.
But you have to do it like sincerely. You love it.
Yeah.
Even you don't love it, but you have to make that.
Right.
So, and actually that helps. And they always like, I love it every time.
Yeah, that's
Because I
true.
love it.
Nice. Okay, one last question. We have been talking a lot about the kids that are coming up the ranks and these couples that are wanting to do better. But there are a lot of coaches out there that will probably listen to this that are training kids and training other people. What would your advice be to those coaches to help train these kids in the best possible way?
You mean training kids to train other people?
No, just train, like, to your advice to the coaches.
Yeah.
Oh,
To the coaches that have kids that they're training and that are bringing people up the ranks. What would your advice be to them?
Wow, that's
I think also very important, beside that they have to teach obviously right technique and with a positive way and everything. It's very important to know the history also of dancing, where it's come from, the dancing, bring this through the back, because a lot of kids doesn't even know
Right.
who was the champion, where is samba come, what is this step of like sliding doors, what it is about.
Yeah.
You have to also bring the history and meaning
Right.
what they do. So it's very important for me that they know the history also, all the dancers and dancing world and champions and styles of dancing.
Right.
I think it's important for the kids. Otherwise, they know only now who it is.
Yeah.
Also learn the difference between knowledge and interpretation, because sometimes we see people teaching interpretation as a knowledge, when it's a little bit different. Knowledge is what you read in a book, and because it's in a book, you can give your interpretation of it. But if most
you
of
can
it, and I
twist
was
it.
one of the first, like I was taking whatever my coach was giving me as a Bible, like
Yeah.
it is what it is. But I never had a chance to, me, be a lazy one, to get in a book and read it. Till I had to learn to teach the people. And then I had to go to the book and read it and understand why there is 1/8 of rotation to the right, what is the timing 3/4, 1/4, what is the time of this, and I understand the meaning of the knowledge and not my interpretation I give it to it. Because sometimes it's sidetracking people.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you
Because
think like,
that one said this one, this one said this one.
Yeah.
So they have to understand its interpretation also.
Right.
So
and
when
we ask,
they
did you
can
read a book? Did you check in a book? Yeah. No, you didn't. Well, yeah, it is. Like, no. Did you check the book? Did you read through?
Yeah.
Did you try to understand? Because also to try to read and understand is difficult.
Yeah.
It's not easy. We've been in the business over 30 years, yeah, and still sometimes struggling to
Yeah.
understand what the figure is about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to pass through everything else and go back to read in order for you to understand.
Yeah.
So knowledge for me, it's very important to understand,
Yeah.
like a basic element.
Yeah.
And then you have to tell them, this is what is in the book. My actual interpretation is like this. Because if they want to interpret it in a different way, as long as they don't change the basic rules in a book, it's good. It's a development. It's called development.
Yeah.
Of course, for young kids, maybe it's a little bit
Yeah,
the
they have to
boring
copy,
side.
but-
Right.
You have to also bring the music. I think good music is also very important.
Yeah.
And also knowledge of music,
Yeah.
at least a little bit, to understand the musicality.
Sure.
So I think that's very important that they know.
And they have to love it. If you do what you love, or you love what you do, people will understand. People
Yeah.
will fall in
You
love.
teach different way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like the way you are, Michael, you love what you're doing. And I can see the love in your eyes, and I'm sure when you teach the people, you teach them to love the dancing. And it's very important for what we're doing.
Yeah.
If you teach just for money, we go nowhere.
Yeah.
And
Right,
believe me,
it's just
there
a
are not
plus.
enough in our industry, so
Yeah.
stop doing that
Of course,
and do what you love.
we cannot do without money for sure.
Right.
But that's always a plus, like
Right.
a reward
Yeah.
for you. But first, we'll start from your heart, and I think everything will come.
Great. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to get on this interview and on our podcast, and we're so grateful for you, not only for doing the podcast, but we're so grateful for the hard work and the inspiration you give to all of our kids and to all of the dancers around the world. So if I may be so bold as to thank you for inspiring not just our little studio here, but also the dancers of the world that are out there aspiring to be like you.
We hope so.
Yeah.
Thank you to
We are
give us the
humbled to
opportunity,
hear
please, to
that.
share
Thank you so much.
part of our life.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Michael.
you.
Thank you.
Are you loving Magic for Life? Please like and share our podcast on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Interested in learning the ballroom dance? Check out ballroomforlife.com/free for a free 3-day trial. You can learn to dance right in your own living room and change your life forever.